Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. We have with us tonight Mr. Sam McLean, who's the newly appointed National Director of Get Up Australia, and Ms. Jan Owen, the CEO of Foundation for Young Australians, and Dr. Perry Campbell, who's a research fellow at ADRI. One of the things that we've done in organising this forum is to team up with an organisation called OurSay. And OurSay has been running a forum online where people have been invited to post questions and to vote on the questions. So OurSay is an organisation that identifies itself as a social enterprise that gives citizens direct access to decision makers through the power of social media. So the winning question, number one: Robert Doyle joined Twitter and Facebook as part of his campaign to be re-elected as Mayor of Melbourne. Hello, I'm Robert Doyle, the Lord Mayor of Melbourne. I'd love to chat directly about what interests we share and concerns you have about Melbourne. When people started to raise their concerns over his heavy-handed approach to political demonstrations, he deleted his Facebook account and suspended his Twitter stream. This is a question. Are campaigns like, asked Doyle, creating a deeper form of democracy where politicians will be held to account?
I thought that what Robert did was something that was actually very personal around, and I'm thinking particularly around the Occupy Melbourne piece, because that was where, you know, this heavy-handed actions were. And I had much less a sense that it was Robert protecting the sort of city of Melbourne than it was Robert being very, very personally invested in his city and what was going on in his city and what he thought was okay in his city. And I think therein lies a really interesting question, because is the city Robert Doyle's city, or is it actually our city? I thought it was a very, very personal reaction of deep personal ownership, which I, rightly or wrongly, which I think was, a very interesting response. And I just think we need to think very differently about tenure.
The second question was asked by Nicholas Tan and received 168 votes. With Coney 2012 as an example, I think it was undisputedly, his word, successful, that's a teacher in me, sorry, in grabbing worldwide attention. However, can social media properly inform the youth to raise genuine concern about important issues that have been trivialised? Or does it just create a fad that is quickly forgotten, as is the nature of digital media?
I think one of the first things is that as a result of the time in which we're living, we're faced with a number of issues, complex issues, constantly on the TV, through our social media, through all the different devices and things we're connected to. So we're flooded with information, we're saturated with information, in terms of fads, in terms of things coming and going, a lot of things are going to come and go, but it depends on who picks them up, who's passionate about what and is going to carry things forward. And I think that social media, it can provide a space, it can be a tool for people to create momentum, to accelerate conversations and social change. And as we've seen, it can be that tool. And it can be genuine in that way, but it can also be taken to the streets for other types of actions.
And finally, question number 3, which was posted by Alex Miller and attracted 161 votes. What can be done to stop the inaccurate and sensational portrayal of science in the media? Many controversial issues raised in the media regarding science are not regarded by actual scientists as matters of contention. Giving the two sides of various issues equal footing presents the image of debate and often thwarts efforts to fix major problems.
Well, I think that this for me goes back to the point that I raised earlier about bubbles of information. And it's one thing that Channel 10 or Channel 9 News will present sometimes both sides of the climate debate as if they were kind of on equal footing on a scientific basis. But actually, I think the bigger problem for us is that problem I mentioned earlier, that if we each Google climate change, we will get different responses that reinforce the existing prejudices we already have. And that's a problem that we all have processing information in any format is that we're prone to hear what we want to hear and see what we want to see to reinforce the beliefs that we already have. But now we actually have algorithms doing it for us.
I'd ask you to thank Perry, to thank Sam, to thank Jan, and I'd like to thank you all for coming as well. Thank you.
Thank you.